Hey kings, it's your boy, Teams of Regret. I've been looking back on my past as of late, and I've found out that I haven't been living up to my reputation as a Bethesda fanboy. I mean, some dumb kid said I was one, and you know what? He's right, and I haven't given Todd Howard a good sloppy toppy in a while, so I think it's time to get back in the groove. In this video, we're taking a look at a guy who claims that Starfield is doomed. Like, absolutely doomed. This game has absolutely nothing going for it, and that it is destined to fail. Now, when someone makes assertions like this, they usually have evidence to support their points, but unfortunately the stuff this guy says is less than compelling. Hell, a lot of it is it's outright dumb. So, take a seat, why don't you all? Because this dude needs schooling, and class is in session.
Let's think about the two biggest space games we have in our lives. No Man's Sky and Star Citizen, right? And what do both of these games have in common besides being in space? They were both dog shit for the first 5 years of their release.
I mean, by pure technicality, Star Citizen isn't even out yet. I'm also not seeing what this has got to do with Starfield somehow being doomed from the get-go, but I digress. Please, continue.
And now, they're trying to sell me Skyrim in space. Literally, that's what the founder called it himself.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Skyrim is a great game. Space is a great setting. It's a match made in heaven, really.
Made by Bethesda, by the way, who hasn't been able to release a successful product in over 10 years.
Buddy, Fallout 4 came out in 2015, which is, well, what is it, 7 years ago? It's not even a decade old yet, dimwit. Fallout 4 is also the best-selling game in the entire Fallout franchise. Additionally, while Fallout 76 had an abysmal launch, nobody's denying that, it also turned itself around and now maintains a reasonably healthy player count on Steam alone, not yet counting players on the Xbox launcher and on consoles. By all metrics, it is a successful game. This narrative that Bethesda Games Studio hasn't made a single good game in a decade is a poorly informed take at best and straight up lies at worst. In fact, the only failed Bethesda game from the past few years that really comes to mind is Elder Scrolls Blades, which is a poorly marketed mobile game that I can guarantee most people don't even remember exists.
So if you're blindly hyped for this game, you've been bamboozled, tricked, skanked. But guess what? You came to this video. You're in a safe place now. I will save you.
No, I don't need saving from the likes of you. Todd Howard, peace be upon him, promised me Skyrim and Fallout 4 in space. I love Skyrim and Fallout 4, they're like my two most played games on Steam. I also love space. Todd is literally promising me a game based around all the stuff I love. It's not blind hype, I know exactly what I'm getting into, buddy.
By showing you how Skyrim in space, also known as Starfield, is completely doomed. Let's get into it.
Oh great, yeah sure. Let's get into it, you know? I sure hope you're not just going to peddle disingenuous nonsense and misinformation though. Who am I kidding? I'm making a response video to you, of course you are. Oh well, it was either this video or that video by that nerglite, Jamantha Sterling, and the less I see of that affront to God, the better.
Now, before I even get into the various reasons why Starfield is more doomed than your local GameStop, let me first lay out the primary reason that I'm worried. It seems the developers don't really know what the fans are looking for in this new IP.
And you're saying this because you're a longtime Bethesda fan like me, right? Someone who's played Todd's games, experienced his highs and his lows, understand the ins and outs of his games, and knows what to expect from it. Surely you can't be speaking out of your ass if you're this confident in claiming what Bethesda fans want, right? Well, if he was, I wouldn't be making a video on him, would I?
For example, just a small feature, Todd Howard confirmed that there will be no seamless ground-to-space flight. That basically means if you're on the planet's surface and you fly up into the air, there will be a loading cutscene before you're able to get to space, making the transition a lot less smooth. Okay, right? I mean, that's not the end of the world, it's not that catastrophic, that's one feature. It's Todd Howard's explanation for why it's not in the game that scares me. He said this feature is not important enough to the player to justify it being engineered into the game. He's basically saying that the development time for it isn't fucking worth it. And I don't believe that statement is true at all. I think it's pretty important for an open world exploration game with over 1,000 planets to have this seamless ground-to-space feature. But clearly he doesn't see it that way. And that makes me question, what else doesn't he see that way? What else does Starfield think isn't important when it really is?
Well, there it is. Buckle up, boyos, because this is going to be a long bit. First off, Todd is 100% right when he says that the effort to engineer seamless space flight is just not worth it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a cool feature to have, but I struggle to justify why it should be considered necessary, especially considering what we know about Bethesda's creation engine. Ring ring! You hear that? It's time for your introductory classes to Bethesda's creation engine. You see, the thing about the creation engine that makes it special and different is that it is always calculating, it is always tracking everything all the damn time. Every NPC, every mob, every interactable surface, every physics object, everything. If you interact with it somehow, the engine actively tracks it in some way. This is how Fallout 4 tracks the supply lines you set up between settlements and why you can encounter those caravans as they travel their route. Now, you might think that this could get really taxing on the CPU, and you would be right. It does. So to limit this problem, Creation Engine games and games based on engines like it, they split the game world into many different cells. Only stuff in the immediate cells around the player are actively rendered. Cells further away from the player aren't, but NPCs and items are still tracked, though to a lesser extent compared to active cells. This is why Freeside and the Strip in New Vegas are split into a whole bunch of different sections. There's just too much for the engine to deal with in one setting. Don't believe me? Install the Open Strip and Open Freeside mod for Fallout New Vegas, and watch as even modern computers start chugging along. Hell, you could go a generation further and install the Open Cities mod for Skyrim Special Edition and see the same thing happen. While newer versions of the creation engine have gotten better at dealing with this, the game engine still has its limitations, like every single other game engine does. Trying to add seamless planetary travel to Starfield would fundamentally require Bethesda to gut the creation engine or to just swap game engines entirely, which will instantly kill the game's potential modding scene and require the community that's gathered around Bethesda to ditch up to 20 years worth of collective modding knowledge. So again, Todd is 100% right. Seamless planetary travel is just not worth the effort. Just because you want it doesn't mean it's worth it.
I want you to think about that as we go on through this video. Now, we all remember when No Man's Sky first came out, and it was a complete fucking lie. I still think it's funny to this day how they literally said, yeah, the game's gonna have multiplayer, and it just didn't. How do you get away with shit like that? But anyway, No Man's Sky advertised millions of planets to explore, endless possibilities on all of them. And on paper, that sounded really cool. The galaxy was fucking infinite. I mean, that's dope. But that fun lasted for about 29 seconds. People quickly realized that the planets, despite being named different things, were all just reshades of the same shit. Somehow, this game being so full of planets made it so empty. And that was a big problem people had with that game. So Starfield, it has 1,000 planets. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot better than 1,000,000, but that's still just too many to justify having. I just don't get why they won't focus on 120 planets. Really craft those planets, add specialties to all of them. That would make the game feel perfectly huge while also being purposeful. Listen, when most people buy this game, you are not going to explore more than 45 planets. The average player. Nevertheless, 200, 300. So why not make it 100 planets that when someone goes there, it's special and not some procedurally generated shit?
But that's literally what Bethesda is doing. Todd went on record saying that only around 10% of all the planets in Starfield will have life on them, while others are just barren resource worlds that's there to do as you please. So that means around, 100 worlds will have handcrafted content? That's exactly what you're asking for, like, oh my, you're literally complaining over a non-issue. Jeez Louise, man. This video started weak as hell, and it sure as hell is not getting any better.
Not only that, but the planet exploration is weak, man. No rovers. No rovers? In fact, no vehicles at all. There's no ground transportation at all in this game.
I mean, it was never promised and it was never shown in the previews. Like, the spaceships are an amazing addition by themselves. Like, come on, man. Like, this is the first Todd Howard Bethesda game to actually have drivable vehicles. The only other quote-unquote vehicles you had are horses and the vertibirds in Fallout 4, which is more like over-glorified fast travel. The spaceships by themselves, again, are already amazing.
You are going to be walking everywhere on foot. I guess the rumors are true. Bethesda doesn't know how to code fucking vehicles. Never in any of their games have they made you drive a car.
Oh, this guy's one of those idiots who don't even know the distinction between Bethesda the studio and Bethesda the publisher. Sweet lord, why am I so surprised? Like most of those games on the background of his video are Bethesda published games, not Bethesda developed. Bethesda developed are like the ones by Todd, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Oblivion. Bethesda published is everything else. Doom, Wolfenstein, Dishonored, you know, there is a distinction. Also, like Rage and its sequel, published by Bethesda, has driving integral to its core gameplay loop. Like, Jesus, how do you fail this hard? Oh my god, we're not even halfway through the video. Kill me now, Jesus.
So no ground transportation. There are rumors that on each specific planet, there are boundaries as to what you can explore. So it's not just an infinite planet surface that you can walk around on forever. There are limits to the directions that you can go. You add the fact to that there's no seamless ground to space transitions, the exploration is already going to be super fucking choppy. One of the main parts of the game is exploration. That's the main reason you're fucking buying this game. Yet they're even limiting that.
These complaints are self-defeating and contradictory to some of your previous complaints. Like, did you even listen to what you say? I doubt this shit is scripted, because this whole rant is way too messy to have come off a script. If this is scripted, like, man, go back and do some proofreading, please. You literally complained that there was too much to explore, that nobody's going to go through it all. But now you're complaining that there's not enough. Like, which is it, you dummy? Pick one and stick with it.
So immediately, I'm not even done with the fucking video. There are red flags here everywhere.
I am about to shove a red flag up your urethra with how stupid this video is. Sweet lord.
Now listen, this combat, it's actually embarrassing how they released this to the public. Now I'm picky, alright? I'm not gonna lie, I'm picky. You look at my channel for 5 seconds, alright? I'm fucking picky, alright? But I've been around for some time now. And this combat that they're showing me, it looks like a fucking Roblox summer intern's first coding project.
Bitch, have you seen what kids these days can do with Roblox? Phantom Forces and Proving Grounds are genuinely goated. Fuck you. Also, Starfield's combat is a step up from Fallout 4, which is the only Todd Howard game to have the honor of not needing any overhaul mods to make the combat fun. Even Fallout 4's biggest haters has to admit that it's got good gunplay.
Who are they fooling here? The guns have no recoil, barely any sway.
There is literally recoil in the clip you're showing. The player is very clearly fighting the muzzle rise of the gun. It's right there. Right there. You see how the gun suddenly jerks down? Only a goddamn idiot could miss this shit. Goddamn. Did you pass high school? Did you even pass middle school? Actually, no, don't answer that. I don't want to lose any more faith in the education system as it is.
The shooting has barely any impact on the target. It looks generic as hell.
Motherfucker. The clip literally shows the enemy flinching and falling backwards. This is beyond retardation. You are genuinely brain dead. Holy shit.
Are they fooling? It looks so bad, man. And I'm looking at people in these YouTube comments of these trailers, hyping the game up, calling it, next game of the year, the next big Elder Scrolls type game. Ooh, what the fuck are you guys looking at?
It's quite brave of you to accuse others of being blind when the gameplay clip you're using to prove your point literally proves you wrong. You are either disingenuous and lying through your teeth, or you're just legally blind. For your sake, bro, I hope you're blind.
Don't get me wrong, I love when people find games that they think look cool and they can put tons of hours into. But how are you with a straight face gonna drop $70 on this? Look at this, bro!
Yeah, this looks like Fallout 4 but better. It's exactly what I wanted out of Starfield. Also, I'm playing it on Game Pass until it goes on sale on Steam.
I don't even need to do any more explaining. We're moving on from the combat because it just makes me want to end the fucking video here.
Do it! Do it! You said nothing of value for the past 4.5 minutes. You might as well delete your channel as well.
I'm 200% sure the game is going to be unoptimized. They confirmed as early as last week that the Xbox Series X is going to be capped to 30 frames per second. Your next-gen console that you paid $650 for can't run it. And we should all be worried about that, because if it's locked to 30 on Xbox. I hope you guys bought a 4090 recently, because there's no fucking way you're playing this game without it.
Buddy, you are not as clever as you think you are. You should stop. Just like how I stopped expecting intelligence from you. If you paid attention to my bit about the creation engine, then you'll have realized that Bethesda games are CPU heavy, not GPU heavy. It's a matter of calculations and shit, not rendering and shit. Buying a 4090 isn't going to do much when the bottleneck is your hardware CPU. At least from what I've read. The CPUs on the new consoles aren't even half as impressive as current year CPUs available on the PC market. So really, this is a console problem. Consoles holding back gaming and whatnot.
Now let me just not be a complete degenerate, okay?
Unfortunately for you, that is an impossible task.
Starfield has some quality features. At least that's what we think right now. Graphics are decent, and there seems to be a decent amount of story and side quest content. Also, it's a Bethesda game, so you can probably pick up and interact with everything in the world. And I'm sure that there's tons of secrets hidden in the game for people to discover. But let me ask you something. What is this game offering that No Man's Sky isn't? Because before this video, I actually tried to sit down and figure it out. I mean, when you put them next to each other, you actually realize No Man's Sky has way more to offer than Starfield.
I mean, where do we start? Off the bat, we have ship customization. No Man's Sky doesn't really have that. Closest thing they have that comes to mind is freighter customization, but that's still leagues below what Starfield is offering. Hostile shipboarding is a thing in Starfield, which isn't in No Man's Sky either, to my knowledge. It's been a while since I played, so forgive me if I'm wrong. Starfield's character customization already looks infinitely better as well. Also, considering this is a Bethesda game, we can expect better stories, better side quests, better handcrafted content. Since, if you look at No Man's Sky, apart from the anomaly, the game's content is 100% randomly generated. That won't be the case with Starfield. Modding is also another important thing to consider. Mod support for No Man's Sky is practically non-existent, while Bethesda keeps it in mind during development. RPG mechanics. No Man's Sky doesn't really have that. You say the gunplay in Starfield's previews look bad? Well, what little gunplay exists in No Man's Sky is infinitely worse. Like, it's everything you accuse Starfield's gunplay to be. Have you even played No Man's Sky?
I mean, they recently revealed this outpost system, which is apparently a pretty big part of the late game, but it also looks like a straight copy and paste of Fallout 4's outpost system, which for me didn't hit the spot, and I barely used it due to the generic nature of how the NPCs acted and its lack of utility in the game. It doesn't look like this has too many extra additions to the system besides being able to mine resources passively.
See, I was pretty sure for a while that you don't actually know what you're talking about this entire video, but your dismissal of the settlement system on Fallout 4, it just practically confirms it. Like, there's no doubt anymore. You are literally talking out of your ass. Fallout 4's settlement system is not useless. It's how you farm for rare resources. It's a neat spot to rest and resupply after adventures, which is extra important if you're playing survival mode. And if you've sided with the Minutemen, you can literally call down artillery on the enemy if you've built mortars on your settlement. Seriously, this is all basic stuff you can learn in the first few hours of the game. And Starfield's system is just a copy and paste of Fallout 4 settlement system. Are you stupid? No, actually don't answer that. I know you are. There's already so many improvements shown to the system in the previews that it's harder not to notice it. Like, how do you not see the snapping and the camera taking a top-down view during construction and still think it's just a total copy and paste? Like, how do you do that? No, wait, actually don't answer that. It's because you're fucking stupid.
When I see Starfield, when I look at it, I'm not seeing Bethesda pushing the limits in any way. This game looks like a clash of No Man's Sky and Star Citizen, which could be a good thing, but the difference is those games are both multiplayer, so it doesn't have anything that stands out that differently from those games.
I mean, sure, No Man's Sky has a bigger galaxy. Star Citizen might have better detailed worlds. Call of Duty might have the better gunplay. Cyberpunk could have the better story. But what other game combines all four into one package like Starfield does? The answer is none. That's what makes Starfield unique. It's the game folks in 2007 thought the original Mass Effect was going to be like. Only the monumentally retarded can't see the boundaries it's pushing.
So when I'm seeing gameplay, I'm just like, meh. I'd rather be Dragonborn fighting mythical creatures and shit than shooting robots in space with a laser rifle. The exploration is clearly mindless and limited, and the combat has absolutely no charm for anyone. What is this game offering that is different or new? Game comes out in 3 months and I can't answer that question. And guess what? Neither can you. I don't mean to hate, but this is gonna be a flop of a game, okay?
I am running out of ways to call you stupid, sweet Lord Almighty. You seriously can't see what Starfield's offering that nobody else can? Christ, maybe the eugenicists were right. Never breed, bucko. We don't need you passing down your idiocy to later generations. And do not speak for me, you illiterate hick. Like I said before, other games might do a part of what Starfield does better, but none are doing all of what Starfield does in one package. That in of itself is unique. Nobody else is offering that. Even like Oh my god, why Star Citizen? Like, why are you even bringing that game up? That game's a travesty. It's in forever alpha, and it's too busy selling JPEG ships to even offer a finished game. The people who are going to be playing the final launch of Star Citizen are the ones inheriting it from their senile grandfathers decades from now. It's just not a valid comparison. Hell, Star Citizen only has 4 playable planets, only 3 of which you can actually explore. Starfield has hundreds of planets that you can explore, and at least 3 of them have major cities, each being different from the other. You are a genuine lobotomite if you think Star Citizen is in any way worth comparing to Starfield. Jeez, what a dumbass. Watching this guy's video is actually frustrating. It is killing me. I want to bleach my brain after this. Jeez Louise. After this, he wraps up his video, and honestly, I'm done with him. I'm done. I don't know what else I can add to this video that I didn't already say in my responses. There are plenty of things to critique Starfield and Bethesda for, and this dude somehow brought up none of them. Oh boy, that's all I have for this video. I've got a review on The Bureau, XCOM Declassified, coming sometime soon, and I've got to cram on that. Stay tuned for that if you want. If not, stay tuned for whatever other response videos I cook up. It's up to you, really. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you feel like it. You know the drill. This has been Cheems of Regret, wishing you all good luck and Godspeed. Signing out.